Hey, good evening, everybody. I am Chuck Rogers, licensed professional counselor and licensed marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Keith Dunn, and I'm a network engineer.
And together we're Tabletop Coffee.
Yeah, where we are bold and never, ever bitter.
And tonight we're asking the question, can you save your marriage by pretending that you have a dove on your shoulder? Stay tuned and we'll talk about it.
Oh my goodness. So when you started talking to me about this today, I was thinking, where in the world is this going, and why in the world would I have a dove on my shoulder? How does that help?
Yeah, I'm almost embarrassed to talk about. Not quite, almost embarrassed.
Yeah, no, it takes a lot to go to the embarrassed side with Chuck. Trust me.
Yeah, it does. And I'm not even sure if this is going to come across well on video.
Yeah.
But I did want to share about a situation that happened in the last month or so.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly when it took place. I work with a lot of couples, and at times the emotions can become really rather raw, and it can become very volatile at people's homes, and sometimes even volatile within sessions. And I had this wonderful couple with whom I was working, and they had things to be quite rocky for quite some time in their relationship. And in the session, I began the session like I always begin sessions and say, tell me what's happened since last we talked that's felt good that you would like to continue to keep happening. So I wanted to find some good things to talk about. I'm not opposed to talking about problems.
Right.
I'm very okay talking about problems. I just want to talk about them through the lens of the good.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, because what you focus on expands, and what you focus upon you become. So they had talked about some positive movement in their relationship, and it wasn't earth-shaking to them, and it wasn't earth-shaking to me, but it was really wonderful, positive movement, and we were talking about it. And I noticed in the session, it was actually a video session, and it felt good. Okay. And I said, just notice this session just in this moment. Just notice these few moments that we've had. Just notice the way words are being said. Notice the choice of words. Notice the positive focus. Notice the direction in which we're headed. Just notice. Right. Just notice what it feels like. Just notice how good it feels. And they said, yeah, we sense that as well. And I said, and I just went out on this limb and I said, I just want you to pretend that this moment is like a dove. And maybe if a dove came and it landed on your shoulder and you wanted that dove to stay there, just think about how you would be. Just think about the movements that you would make. You'd be very careful about the dove being there. You wouldn't want to move quickly. You wouldn't want to make jerky kinds of movements. You would not speak in language that is of a high volume. You'd want to make sure that your tones were soft and your tones are very gentle while you were talking. You'd want that dove to stay there. Okay. And let's just kind of pretend that we have a dove on our shoulder for the rest of our time today. And they went, okay. And then later on in the session, we began to talk about some topics, one topic in particular that was difficult. And the guy began to become amped. And he just says, I can feel the dove rocking. And I said, good job noticing. Just good job noticing where you're feeling it in your body. Where do you feel it? We talked about where he feels it in his body. So just be aware that you're feeling it in your body here. So that when you're back in your time together this next week, maybe you're noticing where you feel it in your body. And so we just talked about it for a little bit. And the session went really well because he was so careful at that point.
Well, I mean, even while you're talking about it, I'm thinking about a dove on my shoulder. I mean, I really am. Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, if I really did have a dove on my shoulder, and I think that would be a really cool thing for him to sit right there, I would do everything I could to keep him there.
Yeah, you'd be really careful.
And so I can see how that really would work. It may sound odd.
It does sound very odd to me. And it worked so well in that session. I had another session that afternoon with a couple in my office. And typically the sessions could become rather intense. And this particular person tended to use language that is aggressive and critical
Okay.
and harsh and intense.
Right.
And so I said to him at the onset of our session, you're kind of an outward guy. It's kind of what you think and how you feel is just kind of comes rolling out your mouth. And you're an intense person. So I want to encourage you to think about something with me. Let's just pretend, I went for it again. I said, let's just pretend that you have a dove on your shoulder. And if you wanted that dove to stay there, think about how you would be. Think about your movements. Think about maybe how slowly you would move. Think about how tenderly you would move. Think about the words that you would use, the volume that you would use, the tone that you would use.
Right.
And I just want you to pretend throughout our time today that maybe when you talk, you have a dove on your shoulder. And he went, okay. And then later in the session, we're talking, and all of a sudden he just stops and he goes, you know, that thing you said about the dove, that's really resonated with me. I really want to be careful about what I'm saying in our session. And he mentioned it yet another time in that session. So it was just one of those things that I did in the session that worked twice in the same day to bring about some really wonderful results. And so I was thinking that maybe we could put it out there. I don't know what it's like for you guys who are watching by video.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does it seem to resonate for you at all? Does it not resonate? I would encourage you to maybe make some comments.
I would love to see comments on this one.
Yeah, about what you're thinking about this. And if you haven't tried anything like this, try this in a relationship with any other person with whom you typically kind of become irritated or volatile, and see if it makes a difference for you. It worked 2 out of 2 times so far when I've done it.
That's exciting. I can't wait. Please put your comments down below. We are very interested in hearing the outcome of this and really what you think about it. Because I know for me, just talking about it, I'm thinking about the dove that's sitting right here.
Yeah, I think it really can work for a lot of people.
I think so too.
Hey, if you liked our content, would you please subscribe? Because we both would really appreciate that.
Yep, and ding that bell so you're notified of upcoming episodes.
And make sure to like it.
Yep, share it with your friends.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time.